Hey everyone, Jonathan Bailor here, and so happy to be coming at you here with another bonus Smarter Science of Slim podcast, and really have a special treat here today. We have a world-renowned author and just excellent trainer, just a wonderful woman, living a wonderful example life, has changed the lives of tens of thousands of people. The author of the existing Female Body Breakthrough is her current book, and her brand new, very exciting book called Drop Two Sizes, coming out April 23rd, now available for pre-order. None other than the Rachel Cosgrove. Rachel, welcome.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for having me on.
Hey, Rachel. So I just for the a few folks out there who may not be aware of what you're doing, because I know quite a few people are aware of what you're doing. Can you give a little bit of background on your story and really how you got into the unique position you are today?
Sure. Growing up, I got into weight training and got into the gym really from my dad. I have to give my dad credit. He took me to the gym for the first time, and I actually, got in doing a lot of aerobics and teaching aerobics, and then got more and more into weight training. I ended up getting a degree in physiology with emphasis in exercise and health, and really, always had a passion for the human body, what it was capable of, helping people, and really, realized that this was what I was meant to do, was to coach others and help them to reach their potential. So through, my own, journey and really learning what works for me. And, my whole family struggles with their weight and struggles with, it's been, obesity has been a struggle in our family. So for me, it's been something that I wanted to figure out for myself. But then also as I worked with clients and coached clients, really figuring out what works for women to get the results in the least amount of time and keep them and maintain them for the long term. And so that's, really been my quest, is to, really be the best at helping women to accomplish their goals, reach their potential. And so we're actually going into our 14th year in business. My husband and I opened up Results Fitness, which we're located in Southern California. And we coach, we've coached hundreds and hundreds of people at Results Fitness. It's a co-ed gym, but we do have about 70% women. And, at the gym, we consider it our laboratory. We track every single workout. We track, the results we get. We're able to try out new things. And, if we read something in the research that we want to try out, we can, use it on ourselves. And then, we basically have our own research and development where we can really, hone in our skills, really, figure out what works. And at this point, I feel we've really landed on what works and what, to get to use the least amount of time to get the best results. And that's really, for all of our clients there, really time is one of the very limiting factors in their life. And so making sure that their time is used effectively and that they're going to get the best results in the least amount of time. So I've also had, a lot of opportunities to, like you said, my book came out in 2009, The Female Body Breakthrough. And The Female Body Breakthrough, that was my first book. So of course I put everything into that, heart and soul. So pick up a copy of that. and that really has everything in it of my philosophies and how I train women and what I do to get the results I get. And then, like you said, coming up is Drop Two Sizes, which it's going to be a women's health book. I do have a column in Women's Health magazine and work closely with Women's Health and Nike and livestrong.com. And it's been a fun ride. So yeah, I've definitely been busy and doing a lot. And it's exciting to see so many more women getting on board with my message and have it really resonate with a lot of people.
Well, and Rachel, let's certainly we don't want to give away the farm here, but your message is not a message of the status quo of just go get on the treadmill for as long as you possibly can and starve yourself and you'll be all right. Just eat less food, just be hungry and just spend all your time in the gym. That's not your message at all. So tell us a little bit about your message.
Right. I mean, that's, a lot of people are confused because they get the information, they get the advice that move more and eat less, so it's like if I keep moving more and eating less, that's going to be the answer. But the problem with that is that, you got to just keep eating less and less and less and moving more and more and more because our body is so smart. Our body is constantly figuring out what we're doing. So, yeah, my approach is more we actually don't use a whole lot of steady state cardio. It's something, we trying to get women to flip their priorities. So when most women start an exercise program, they think, okay, day one, exercise one, I'm going to go ahead and head out for a run. And really, that's the last thing they need to start with. First of all, as a priority, really making strength training their number one priority. And that's the key with that is to build the lean muscle mass that's going to increase their metabolism. Also, it increases, decreases their risk of injuries so that if they do decide to go for a run or do something else, then they're going to actually be able to do it with, better joint integrity and less injuries. And so really strength training is the number one, what we've found to be the best, best bang for your buck, as far as if you have 2 hours a week, get in the gym, lift some weights. And, really the strength training programs that you'll see in my books are full body programs. It's not a bodybuilding type of program. It's more, it's really developed to build that athletic, fit, toned physique that women want. So, it is a different type of approach than maybe, some of the programs that they've read in the magazines or maybe have tried before. And it's really about, they also are going to get that cardiovascular benefit, but increasing that lean body mass, not being afraid of, getting stronger and gaining muscle. Muscle's a good thing. And then as they do that, their body transforms and they drop body fat. And, it really leads to the long-term results because of the increase in the metabolism.
Well, and Rachel, how have you found, you're out there on the front lines, having dealt with thousands of individuals and specifically with a focus on women. How do you most successfully overcome that unfortunate dogma that if you train like, quote unquote, a man, you will look like a man, which you and I know is nothing could be further from the truth. You'll look like a wonderful, beautiful, powerful woman. But how do you overcome that?
Well, one of the things that's worked really well is, it's focusing on what the client wants or what the client needs. So if your goal is to lose 2 jean sizes, then let's focus on that. And that has really been a huge help, because if we focus on losing 2 jean sizes, and that's where my next book that's coming out, Drop 2 Sizes, that's what it's all about. It's our system of dropping 2 jean sizes in 12 weeks. And literally we've over and over again been able to, use that system to help women to drop 2 sizes in 12 weeks. The cool part about that is they're not allowed to get on the scale. And they're not allowed, we don't look at numbers, we only look at, are your jeans fitting you better? And so it's literally just, let's lift weights, let's, full body strength training program. And every couple weeks, we're going to pull the jeans out and see how we're fitting. And, basically because, like you said, most women, they are actually going to gain some muscle. And, I think that's actually, a myth. A lot of times trainers will tell females, oh, you're not going to gain muscle, don't worry. But women actually do gain muscle. But the key is that most of them have done, crash diet after crash diet, that their muscle mass is actually so below normal that it's a good thing for them to build muscle. And we want them to build muscle because it's actually getting them up to just normal levels. And you're right, they're never going to look like a man. That's not in their physical makeup to go to the point of, where they're going to build enough muscle to ever look anything close to manly. It's really, they're going to still look feminine, and they're going to be toned, and they're going to be fit, and they're going to be able to do things in their life they never could do before. And really the key is increasing that metabolism so that they can eat, like you were talking about. Instead of starving yourself, you can actually, eat and enjoy food and, fuel your body to be fabulous. And, that's part of my whole philosophy, is really getting that metabolism cranking and getting that, increased so that they can, really maintain this for the long term. So I'd say, the key is focusing on what their goal is, what the jeans have been a huge breakthrough for a lot of my clients, because it really gets their focus off of the scale. And I'll tell you, majority of women who start one of our programs, usually they've done 2 to 3, diets in their lifetime at least. Most women have done even more than that. And so when they start a program like ours, they do gain muscle. And what we've seen is that they lose 2 sizes in 12 weeks, which is like from a size 12 to a size 8, which is huge to go from a size 12 to a size 8 is a complete, you're completely reinventing your body. But the average weight loss on the scale, like when I do put them on the scale and see how much weight they lost, it's only 4 pounds. Mm-hmm. And so they're gaining that much muscle and losing that much fat that they're, dropping 2 sizes. But if they were just looking at the scale, they'd be really disappointed. And so it's really getting them to, get the focus off of the scale, focus on, building the body you want and wearing the clothes you want to wear, and no longer using the scale as one of your measurements.
Oh, and Rachel, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, that is such a profound and liberating thing to do, is to free yourself from the chains of the scale, because as you know, and as your clients have experienced, I mean, oftentimes things we will do to make the scale happy actually predispose us to storing fat. Well, I mean, it's literally counterproductive.
Yeah, I mean, because it totally messes with your mental state. I mean, how many women step on a scale in the morning and that tells them that they're gonna, that their day is now ruined? It's like, it's so how do you let this, this metal object tell you you're gonna have, a bad day? And I mean, we see it as trainers, we see it. Clients come in all huffy and puffy, and you're like, you got on the scale, didn't you? And of course, yep, they did. And so it's like, don't let the scale determine what kind of day you're gonna have. Don't let it determine, because it's not really at this point, if you are adding strength training into your if you're following any of my programs and you're adding strength training as part of your regimen, the scale is no longer an indicator for you. So, it's not even worth getting on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and Rachel, one of the things I wanted to dig into with you is, I know, especially for females, as you tend to get a little bit older, achieving the body and the health you want seems to get harder and harder and harder, especially post-menopause. So do you have this is something in the Smarter Science System support group that comes up all the time. You'll have a female who's doing all that she can to eat nutrient-dense foods, and she's doing strength training rather than chronic cardiovascular exercise, and her husband is just sort of indirectly doing those things because and he is seeing all kinds of success, whereas she can't seem to make the waist shrink. What can we do to help?
Well, hormones are powerful, and so there is, that is something that we do have to be aware of. And if you are, dealing with hormonal fluctuations, it's, that time, then it's something that, you definitely want to work with a medical practitioner or somebody who can, check your hormone levels and try to help you to get them stabilized. But I have to tell you, we have a number of our female clients who reach their absolute peak fitness in their 50s. I mean, like, amazing. I walk in the gym and I'm like, I can't wait to be in my 50s because you guys look amazing. Like because, they're able to, at that point in their life, they're confident, they're in the gym, they're lifting weights, they've built muscle. They've been with us for a couple years. And so they have some training time under their belt, and, their bodies just look great. They have high metabolisms. And, I think part of it is, one, be patient, because if if there is, menopause hormones, it's all, real. And it is a very, it's something that, you may have a harder time during that time in your life. But at the same time, decide what you have control over. And the things you have control over are, one, you can, increase your lean muscle mass and, continue to get stronger and continue to get more fit. And then two, keep your blood sugar stable. And I think that's a huge one, because if you keep, your blood sugar actually affects your other hormones. So that's what's going to really keep you stable and help you to get through this, faster and easier. And that, it is just a period of time. But as you get through it, I mean, like I said, you're going to find that, you may, just like our clients, be able to reach, your peak in your life. I mean, these women look, better than they've ever looked in their life. And they're either, pre-menopause, in menopause, or some of them, after menopause. And, they have abs, they just look great. So it's definitely possible. So don't give up, and just, keep in mind the things that you do have control over.
I love that, Rachel. And would you say, just as a way to give hope to individuals, that one of the things that's awesome about this more modern paradigm that you're discussing, which is all about the pursuing strength rather than slowly breaking your body down with chronic steady state cardio, is, like you mentioned earlier, if you're eating less and just moving more, you actually have to keep doing more and more of that. Like, over time, the longer you do that, the harder it gets to sustain it. It's like running on a hamster wheel or a treadmill that keeps getting faster and faster. Whereas when you take this more strengthening approach, both from a diet perspective and from an exercise perspective, it sounds like your clients and you personally have found that it actually gets easier over the time. The more years of this you have under your belt, the tighter your belt's going to fit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, part of the positive of using strength training, rather than steady state cardio, is the mindset as well. When you head into the gym, I think, most women, throughout our entire lives, we've been told, you can't do push-ups, do girl push-ups. You can't do a chin-up, hang from the bar. You can't run a marathon. I mean, the first woman who ran a marathon got kicked out, So it's like, can't. You can't lift that. You're a girl. It's too heavy. And so when women start to shift that mindset and head into the gym, instead of just, okay, I'm going to stay over here on the treadmill and, do the treadmill shuffle because I don't really know what else I'm doing. And, I really can't lift that and I can't do that. And start to instead go, what can I do? And start to, really head into the gym with that attitude of, getting after their workout and really reaching their potential and figuring out, how strong can I get? How many push-ups can I do? What if I could do a chin-up? And, they start to accomplish things they never thought they could accomplish. And so then they gain confidence, they gain, that positive, mindset that they can accomplish anything. And then it's like it feeds itself. So like you said, as you're doing strength training as your workout, you're not only, developing your body and reinventing your body, but I believe it also reinvents your mind and your mindset of what you can accomplish and, really, putting you in a state of that positive mind where you can accomplish anything you want to accomplish.
Absolutely. I always say that as you accomplish those private victories in the gym, this is much like what Stephen Covey talks about when you achieve physical mastery or private victories in the gym, public victories or victories outside of the gym become all that much easier.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we all know, mindset is one of I'd say for most women, what's holding them back is usually their mind. It's usually that they have negative self-talk going on. They have, it's just the things they say to themselves throughout the day, are what are sabotaging their results. And so if they can get that mindset right, then it's like if you have the exercise and the nutrition, and then you add in that mindset, it's magical. And it's like there's no stopping you, no matter what you're gonna accomplish your goals.
Well, what I'm curious, Rachel, what do you say? There's certainly one of the let's call it good things in quotations about like the treadmill or steady state cardio is if I'm someone intimidated by exercise, it's pretty clear. Like you get on the treadmill and you walk, or you get on the bike and you pedal. There's an easy on-ramp. But I think, in your work you show there can be an easy on-ramp to strength training as well. How does someone who is potentially intimidated by this concept, how can starting strength training be as easy as starting to walk on the treadmill?
Well, I think first, getting a program to follow so that you are confident, you know what you're doing. You can head into the gym with a plan. You're not just kind of going in and going, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't know what to do. I don't know what this piece of equipment is. And then, realize you can even start at home. Most of, the programs that I write and a lot of the really effective programs use your body weight to start anyway. So, get started at home in your own, the privacy of your own home, if that's something you can do. A lot of people, it's too distracting. So I do recommend, making a gym membership a part of your eventual goals, because that's, I feel like if you do leave and go to a gym and find a supportive environment where you have other people who are supporting you in your goals, it will be long-term better for you. But you can go ahead and get started in your home and, use body weight and get yourself, I actually have, as part of my next book coming out, there's a DVD series coming out with it where, you can actually do that entire workout in your home, get yourself started. Body weight exercises like squats, lunges, push-ups. These are all fantastic exercises. Get yourself a TRX, which TRX, that's a great tool to hook onto your door, and you can now do a ton of extra stuff. So there's a lot you can do to get started right away. And then as you're building your confidence and you're, ready to hit the gym, again, bring a plan. I think, just having that plan with you and knowing, that's my vision, is that there's women with my book walking around the gym because they have their program, they know what they're doing, and they're confident that, this works. And, they at that point, they don't really care what anybody else thinks because they're on their plan and they know what to do.
I love it. Well, and Rachel, it's funny and how much of a flip-flop this is, because you mentioned, it's almost like we have to invert our priorities. And I would imagine even taking that one level deeper, let's say we've got an individual and they're in the gym and they're bought into the strength training paradigm, and should the first thing they do be to work their arms and do some crunches, or should they maybe do something else?
Yeah, it's actually, we rarely isolate a muscle group ever. Really, with our population and with most women, building big biceps is not usually one of their goals. So that's not something that we really focus on. It's more doing, compound exercises, working multiple muscle groups. So we're going to burn fat. We're also going to build the muscle, and we're really going to get your metabolism going. And so it's, really about, initially that first workout, like I said, is usually body weight or even deloaded, which using something like the TRX, you can deload a lot of exercises by holding on to it and doing a squat. Now you've taken some of your body weight off, and, you can actually get more range of motion and really work on the exercise, the movement. And so it's really about the basic movements. And that's, our whole programming is built around, the basic movements of the human body. And that's really including squatting, pushing, pulling, lunging, twisting, and balancing on one leg. And those are, all things that we incorporate into the program. And bending. Did I say bending? 7 of them. So we're going to, basically the basic function, basic movements of the human body. And that's it. Like, you don't need to isolate your biceps. And yeah, crunches at this point are really something that we don't do at all. Instead we do a lot of core stabilization where we're using planks, and we're using, maybe anti-rotation exercises where you really have to stabilize your core with a load pulling against you one way or the other. So it's really about core stabilization rather than lots of crunches.
Well, and I think, Rachel, this is actually so encouraging, because if I'm an individual who has, quote unquote, tried everything, meaning I've tried every program that encourages me to starve myself and to just spend more hours on the stair stepper, like, it is fair. You've probably tried many, many programs that ask you to do that. But what we're talking about here is literally the opposite. Like, you're going to not fear calories. You're not going to try to eat once a day. You're going to go into the weight room, and you're actually not going to do crunches, and you're not going to pick up small weights. You're going to do big movements, and potentially with some heavier resistance as you get more fit, and you're going to enjoy real food. And by taking this completely different approach, you will get a completely different result, which makes a lot of sense, and I think is pretty exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Rachel, if you had to tell listeners 3 things that they could start doing today to let's focus on the mind here, to help get their mind in a more positive place, what would be those 3 things they would do?
3 things for their mindset. Let's see. I mean, first of all, it's getting focused, getting that tunnel vision. What do you want? And, I think that's, figuring out, first of all, is this, for a lot of people, it may not be about the body. It may be that they just want to be able to, function better or keep up with their kids or their grandkids or whatever it might be, just be able to, live life to the fullest and really enjoy every single experience to the fullest. And so really, what is it that you want? And then, number 2 is the why. And I think that's the most powerful question you can ask yourself is, I think a lot of people, when they set goals, they may say, yeah, I really want to, wear a bikini this summer, but they don't have a powerful enough reason why. And so, they end up losing focus. They end up, not quite following through. And then they end up, beating themselves up that they never accomplished their goal, when really the problem was they just really didn't have a powerful reason why. And that reason why is what will pull you like a magnet towards your goal. And so, if you don't have a strong enough reason why, it's not important enough to you, then, when in a weak moment, something comes up and, you feel like just sleeping in that morning and not doing your workout or whatever it might be, you're going to give in. And so it's really figuring out, the what, but then also making sure you have that really powerful, important reason why you want to accomplish this goal and why it's important to you. And then the third step would be just spending some time really visualizing yourself, at that goal and starting to, speak in the present tense and really picture yourself wearing the clothes you want to wear, looking the way you want to look, feeling the way you want to feel, whatever it is for you, whatever that what is, really spend some time and, get crystal clear on that, what that's going to feel like and, how great that's going to feel. And, that will also, keep you, what's going to happen is if you visualize that enough and, every once in a while, I usually tell my clients, like, associate something with it. So maybe you make a fist and close your eyes and picture yourself looking, the way you want to look or feeling the way you want to feel. And then anytime you are in a weak moment, just take a second, make that fist and close your eyes and picture yourself so that way, you won't give in. You'll be proud of yourself when you get through that moment and, you'll end up getting closer to your goal. And pretty soon, all of a sudden, it'll be a reality. And that visualization will become, who you are and your reality. So those would be, my three steps to get their mindset right.
Oh, I love that, Rachel. And I really like and I just want to dig in very briefly to what you mentioned about the why, because I think that is such a underappreciated aspect of this. And an example I frequently give is you'll notice how, quote unquote, easy or quickly an individual can completely transform their lifestyle when they learn that they're pregnant. And how that really gives, talk about a why. Like, that's a pretty obvious and visceral why of why you need to fuel your body properly. Can you give some examples of bigger, more empowering whys that your clients have found success with? Because, just looking like this celebrity or some number on the scale, those are all very flaccid whys. What are some more empowering whys?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very personal question for each person. I think, it's something that you can't really answer for anybody. Everybody has their own, powerful reason why they want to accomplish something. And, it's just something that for me, whenever a client doesn't reach their goal or, they stray off path, I pull them back and say, okay, well, what was your why? Because, I always want to know their why before we head down the journey and head down the path. That way I can remind them of that powerful reason why. And I mean, powerful reasons why could be, like I said, it could be maybe they've had parents who have suffered from their health, and maybe they don't want to go down the same path. That's a lot of people as they see their parents aging and they see their parents, really, having to spend maybe a lot of time in the hospital or, really struggling with getting older. That's something that they don't want to follow, in those same footsteps. And that can be a huge, powerful reason why. Just wanting to be, like I said, be able to experience and, certain experiences or life or, part of your, being a part with your family, if you guys go on active vacations or, maybe part of your family's, annual vacations is that you go skiing or you go, hiking or whatever you might do. And you don't want to be the one that's, in the back and everybody's waiting for you. And, you want to be the motivating one. And I think that's a huge one for a lot of my clients is just, they want to be inspiring for their children. They want their children to grow up and see them as a positive, strong role model who, doesn't, have that negative talk. And, that's just something to really be aware of when you're around your kids is, what are you saying out loud? What are you saying to yourself? Because they model you and they look at everything that you're doing. And so I think, having, like you said, when you're, when they're pregnant or when they have kids that, look up to them, that's something that can really become a turning point for a lot of people because they realize that it's up to them to set this, this example and set the role model and be the leader for their children and, make sure that they're following the behaviors that they want to follow and that they want their kids to follow. I mean, how much easier would it be if you didn't have to figure this all out now, if you learned all of this as a kid growing up, Mm-hmm. And I always say that to my clients because a lot of times they'll say, oh, well, the kids have to have the junk food or the kids have to. And it's like, well, why not start teaching them now instead of letting them have to go through all of this when they're an adult, So.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and Rachel, just to wrap up, because this is awesome. And I think you touched on this earlier, but what's your reason why?
My reason why, honestly, what motivates me and what inspires me is seeing all of my clients and the people who, if I can inspire somebody, if I can help somebody to make a breakthrough every day, that's what, that I can sleep at night. That's, what gives me my fuel to keep going and to keep getting better. And so it's, that's really my reason why is, to be able to inspire other people. And, that's what I've realized I'm, meant to do. That's part of, who I am. And I do feed off of, when I see that light bulb go off in one of my clients' eyes, that they get it or it was a breakthrough. And, if I can be that role model and that leader and that inspiration for them, that's what motivates me and keeps me driving to always go for more.
I love it, Rachel. Well, I certainly, and I'm not the only one, appreciate the example and the inspiration you give. And I think your message is truly that we can all be an inspiration. And when we focus on that, that really provides us with that why. And the how, it becomes a lot more clear, and the what becomes a lot more clear. So thank you for your inspiration, and thank you for showing us that we can all become inspirations. And I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, everyone, her name is Rachel Cosgrove. She is a wonderful woman. If you haven't checked out her website, please do so. It's rachelcosgrove.com. She's got a book out now, which if you haven't checked out, I would highly recommend, called The Female Body Breakthrough. And her new book coming out April 23rd, which is currently available for pre-order, is Drop 2 Sizes, which again is going to help get you off that scale. And therefore, I could not endorse it more heavily. So Rachel, thank you so much for joining us. And listeners, remember to eat more and exercise less, but do that smarter. Talk to you soon.